There we go. Okay.
Did you put on the,
We're going.
Did you put on
We're going. We're going. We're going. I don't know what this dance is, but I'm going to call it something.
Silly.
All right.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody to the Silly Face Siblings
Fodcast.
I won't try to say what a Fodcast is today because
Doesn't matter.
every time I've done it, it's like
Just forget it.
it's it's everywhere.
You don't need to know.
It's
I'm just
wonky.
kidding.
It's a wonky-tonky system.
Yeah.
All right. So today, to keep going with our habit theme, today we're talking about habits. Holy crap.
Wow.
Speaking of habits, 4 days of talking about habits.
Is that too much?
We're building.
We want to know.
Well, there's 5 days anyways. So you're
Too bad.
you're stuck with us anyways.
Yeah.
Follow through, guys. Come on. You'll be okay. We can do this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about habits.
Okay. So today is talking about habits. You're like, just spit out and say exactly what you're going to talk about. Do you take on too much?
Do you?
When you're starting a new, let's say, transformation, healthcare regime, workout, practice, whatever you're starting where you're looking to change, do you pile on too much?
Exactly.
And then you get overwhelmed and you do it for a while and then your hill that you've just created has got rained on and it all stopped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go back in our videos too, we talked about one day where I was shaking a can kind of thing, right? And that was about the pressure that builds up, whether it's like, we use the example of your boss yelling at you, okay, and you not dealing with your emotions, not processing it, and then eventually you blow up and you take on other people. Kind of the same idea with when you try to do too many new habits all at once. You get to this point where you're like, I just can't do it anymore, and F it, and you stop, and you want to stop everything because you try to do so much at once. Yeah,
and it's super common.
Yeah.
In some of these videos, we've talked a little bit about something that I follow called Ayurveda. Okay, so that has to do with the elements that are on Earth and with the little blip that you have in your body when you're born, essentially, but can change over life, but I'm not going to go there. So if you're one like Greg, who is more air, who is somebody who is kind of all over the place, then you tend to take on more and more because you're always wanting to lift yourself up into the air because that's where you're comfortable, because that's where you're excessive. If you're someone like me who is a little more fire, who's a little more competitive but very judgmental with yourself, you also tend to take on too much because you're like, I can freaking do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you're always stoking your fire. Okay. If you are someone like our father, who is more kapha, who is more earth, who is more water, then you guys are really good at building habits slowly.
Yes.
You are. Because you can take one thing and you're like, oh, I'm good with this one thing and I'm just going to carry it on. My husband, for example, I'm going to give you a little story here. He used to drink like 6 Diet Pops a day. Yeah. He used to drink 6 Diet Pops a day. Okay. He used to drink lots of beer. Okay. There's more to this, but he probably had, let's say, 5 habits that weren't serving to him. Okay. And so what he decided to do was he stopped one of them, still did the other 4, and he stopped one of them. And then over time, he didn't do it again. He didn't go back to it again. And then when he felt ready, he stopped the next one, and then the next one, and so on. So he had that great way of doing it that I'm not going to overwhelm myself. I can't handle it. It's too much. So I know myself that I'm just going to start with taking away 1. Right? But if you're more air and more fire, then you're like, screw that, beep, I'm going to take it all on.
Yeah, do them all.
Yes. So the question becomes, how do people like Greg, people like myself, how do we dial it back?
Yeah.
How would you dial it back?
How would I dial it back? There's two ways really. Create a system of very, very, very small habits.
Okay.
Very small. Okay. So that would be something like my intention, okay, I got to do 10 squats every time I pee. Okay. What about one? So that's one way of drawing it, of bringing it back, is make it even smaller, or pick something, work on that for 7 days, and then move on to the next thing for 7 days.
Think about right now, all of our work. I do this work because it's our passion, it's stuff we love, so it's really not work. But think about it as all of your work stuff. How do you dial all of that back? What do you do?
Okay.
I know what you do.
Yeah, okay.
So tell us what you do there, because I think I feel like a lot of us would relate to that.
Yes.
Work stuff.
Okay, so what I do for work stuff is I structure it, I write it down, and I'll write down little to-do type things. I'll pick the ones that move the needle most. Okay, so for example, Roxanne's working on a lot of
right now,
programs.
meditations for depression. That's the one I'm working on.
So she's working on meditation for depression. So I ask her, okay, well, what do you need from me to help you with this, right? And it's about building the back end, ClickFunnels type things. And I'll write down exactly what that needs to look like. So instead of writing just depression for ClickFunnels, I'll actually break it down. Okay, let's work on this thing. And then when I'm done, I put a check mark. When I do this thing, check mark. When I do this thing, check mark. When I do this thing, check mark. All of a sudden, we're done a lot. Not all of a sudden, but over a shorter period of time, I've actually completed more than if I just went here's the one big category without breaking it down.
Yeah.
Right? Without taking that air and pulling it onto paper, which doesn't move.
So what you're doing with being more air is you're creating structure so that you can stick to that structure, and then it allows you to be more grounded, to be more in your body, because you're focused here, and then that's done. Okay, that's focused. So it allows you to be more structured.
Yes.
Okay. For myself, if you're someone who's a little bit more fire, and you know who you are, you do, because you might be like, oh, I'm very judgmental. I'm very okay, get up and go.
Hard on yourself.
Yeah, very hard on yourself. So what I do for myself is, instead of piling on so much to get overwhelmed, because I have all of these things that I want to do, is that I can't focus on all of those things at once. I can't. Because then in turn, you'd be harder on yourself because you didn't complete it. So what I say to Greg is, Greg, there's other programs that we want to work on. But I say, Greg, no, I'm going to finish my meditation for depression, that whole program. I'm going to finish that first, so that I can put all of my focus, all of my intention, all of my fire into that program. Once that program is checked off and done, okay, now I'm going to move on to the next thing. Because if I'm thinking of the meditations for depression while I'm thinking of creating an endurance program, it's going to get all mixed up, and my energies aren't going to be put 100% into that one thing.
Right.
So that's how that would sort of ground me and create a little bit of water to cleanse, to move the other stuff out of the way so that I can see.
So a little side point there, okay, is that's how Roxanne works.
Yes.
And I'm very air, right? So a lot of ideas come to me throughout the day. There's probably 100 different business related ideas in there.
Yeah.
But being Roxanne's support system and her being my support system, it's important that we understand how each other operate.
Yeah.
So I said to Roxanne, I said, okay, I will not discuss anything business related with you until you've completed this. She set a timeline for herself too. So she said by, what did you say?
Friday.
Yeah. Okay. By Friday, right? So I made a commitment, being her support system, to not talk about all the other 100 ideas in my head, right? The endurance program, the core, the ballot, everything else, right? I made the commitment not to speak to her about those things. Why? So that she could tap into her ability to deliver an amazing program about what she's focused on.
and to also keep you structured.
Totally. It helps both of us. Yes. It helps both of us.
Yes. So when I notice him start to increase his air, and I get all these Facebook messages, blah, 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 stop. Like happened yesterday. I say, Greg, you need to ground. Stop. You need to stop right now. Go and stop, because it's kind of like just trying to sort of rein you in a little bit, just little reminders. So that's how we kind of balance together with each other. But the beauty of it is that you guys already have people that you feel that balance with. You know you do. Whether it's your spouse, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your child that is grown up that is now, you know, in their 30s and you get along with them. Well, you have somebody already that you balance really well with, that there's a really good sort of give and take. So align yourself with those people, and then you'll help your new habits or your new lifestyle to flow a little more smoothly, to not be so overwhelmed. Or on the opposite end, for those kappas who are more earth, to help to pick them up, to give them a little nudge. Just do this one thing, just one. That's not fun, and they can handle it.
I think it's super important that you know your energy type too, like your Ayurvedic. What's it called? What's the proper word?
It would be your constitution, your dosha. Just, I mean, whether you think of it as I'm more earth or I'm more fire, whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Either way, you know that you're hot sauce.
Right. So if you know if you're hot sauce or if you're an airplane.
Yes.
Okay. Or a worm.
No, I'm kidding.
No, a worm's a good one, actually, because they're grounded, right? Yeah. So knowing whether you're a worm, an airplane, or hot sauce.
Worms are cute.
What? And they're asexual.
Yes.
Just saying, they reproduce with themselves. Anyways, long story short, knowing that energy type, that dosha, that constitution, it'll help you create habits that work for you.
Balance.
Right? When you're the Vata type, you start to learn, okay, well, when I get into this state, how can I come back?
Yeah.
Right? When you're the fire, when I get incredibly fiery and hard on myself, what can I do to come back?
Yeah.
When I'm that Kappa type, I believe I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
What can I do when I get too grounded? I want to move up a little bit, right? So knowing those things is incredibly beneficial to your life. If you want to know more, message Roxanne. That's her thing. I've learned the words and I've learned about them, but not to the degree that Roxanne knows them. Cool. So she's teaching me a lot.
It kind of helps to put some of the puzzle pieces together in a different way.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. So when we're talking about our topic today is all about, you've set all these new intentions and you want to go for it. Knowing your energy type, knowing your dosha will help you determine how to go about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So hopefully that gave you guys a little bit of insight as we kind of spoke about us and what we do, because we know that we are all humans and we're different, but we are also very similar in some ways as well. So maybe some of this resonated with you. Let us know. Send us a little message, put a little comment in there, tell us what you do, because other people might see that and be like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Can I'd like to be off topic and airy because I thought of something. Okay, so she's making a face. What a jerk. Go ahead. Roxanne mentioned about the differences and similarities, right? What tends to happen is when we grow up, we're always thinking about, okay, well, how is that different? How are we different? How are we different? What if instead we asked, how are we similar? Beating hearts, working brains, right? We all have the ability. We all have the ability to love. We all have the ability to hate, right? How are we all similar? Instead of being like in a world of differences and competition, let's look at how are we similar. Anyways.
That's good.
That's my last thought.
Yeah, that's good. I was getting distracted by the saw. I was thinking, what are they doing? But that's good. I was also listening. Very good.
All right.
Like it. Okay.
See you later.
So peoples who are watching, who are still with us, if you've lost us,
We're sad.
Stop that. Yeah, we're gonna go cry now. And if you watch it later, well, you can cry with us right now, but make a silly face.
I know what to do. Oh.
Do a worm.
What?
A worm. You say a worm.
I don't know how to do worms. Airplane. Do your dosha.
Okay.
Do your dosha. The dosha challenge.
I don't know. Okay, we're done. That's too much.
Okay, bye.
I don't think they like it anymore. Sorry.
Sorry.
Bye.